really end up in the vulnerable spot for him, right? If you see I'm right on that angle, that's worse for him, yeah? You see that? So it's really kind of in that vulnerable spot there. See how it's used this Kamai's effect of painting things very easily? So see if you can, again, without intentionally trying to be in an exact place, coincidentally wind up in the perfect place. If that makes sense. Part of doing that is being able to, again, if you have that idea of you want to end up in a certain place, again, don't forget that maybe it makes sense to start in a better place. Right? Remember that? Okay. I'll give that a try. When I was here, I was talking about the, there's a lot of lessons in the Godon test, right? And I see people do some interesting things out of the 1,000 plus I've probably seen since living in Japan. One big issue I see is people take the wrong distance, right? So if Anya is the person giving the test, hypothetically, right? So that's the person, the common mistake I see is people get up here and they almost literally sit on her feet. Now how am I going to start from there and have any chance of success? Right? That's analogous to saying, okay, punch me, right? That's not probably a winning strategy there, right? So first thing is take the right distance, right? So the lesson from this, and again, this is not about the Godon test specifically, it's just from everything, right? So if she's there and she's going to be the person giving it, I would say, ideally, okay, there's maybe an ideal distance that I want to take, but if you're not 100% sure of that, then I would say, be a little too far and make her walk up into my space, and then she'll take the right distance, right? Doesn't that make a little more sense than going here and sitting on her feet? Right? You can see where the problem's going to be. Okay, then the second real issue, and what I want to get to specifically with this movement that we're doing, is I see people here, they sit down, the sword starts coming down, and they're up and do some sort of roll. They're up and go here, whichever way they go, they move upward. The sword's coming down, you move upward. Aren't you giving yourself less time? Right? So, everybody actually jump into a Sega here for 1 second. Pick a line if you can, otherwise just imagine it. How can you get yourself off of that line? Take some sort of, it doesn't have to be beautiful, but get yourself off that line without going upward. Probably going to be more than one solution, but for me, one that's very effective is just the idea of let's just get my butt off the line. And look, I still got nice command, right? Here, and just get that off the line. Then I can do the roll or whatever. Just that simple thing, just sliding just straight. I'm down as much as I can go, and then I go. All right, see how that's giving me probably more time. More safety, and for the most part, with the exception of this last little bit, I'm completely off the line, like that. Right? See that? Okay. So the reason I bring this up is not about teaching anybody to do the Godon test, but let's borrow you again. Going back to here, I'm seeing some people here slowly. They're moving back towards the punch, this punch. It's kind of dangerous, right? You're giving yourself less time to deal with that punch. So what I'm going to advocate be here, and I need to move myself here. See how I never move towards the punch? Right? I'm moving to the side. Then from there, fine, I can do whatever I need to do. Right? So don't try to play games sailing past that punch. It's a dangerous proposition, I would say. Right? You see that? See how it's the same idea? Okay, give this a quick try. Again, the idea is kind of like these two sliding doors that go past each other. There's really no way they can run into each other because they're on different paths. So here, and now I'm on a completely different path. See, I'm almost ending up behind him here, right? You see that? And again, I'm able to do that because our guy from yesterday, but it's I'm not allowing there to be any connection there. So wherever he was going, that's where he's going. I'm not doing anything really to alter that path, right? Can you see? And then from there, I've got the options to turn and strike, do whatever I want to do from there. Okay? I think you can all come up with nice, beautiful endings to that. That part, really, quite honestly, doesn't matter. Okay? Hey, can you say what the feeling is there a little bit?
It's actually too late to do anything when I'm executing the second part. You're already in everything inside my defense.
Yeah, he may have some sense that there's some movement, whatever, but it's not enough to trigger some kind of change in him. And it's once he's it's already thrown out there, it's almost just kind of the point, like, it's just somewhat silly feeling, kind of. It's related to idea. Just go back to like a one-punch thing, and it's like there, and hey, what's going on over here? It's that feeling right there, right? Same feeling. Okay. So it's that complete disengagement, and I'm not giving him any of the stimulus or response that he expects and that he's experienced in his life up till now. It's a complete different experience for him. Okay? I don't know how you can translate that into your movement, but again, get it up here first and then try to see if you can make it happen. Okay? All right. Just go slowly. If I'm wanting to end up where I'm ending up, don't be here with the idea that now I want to go way the hell back over here in the second punch. If I want to end up over here, it's probably not too smart to get too far over here. That's a long way to go back across there. So if I want to go there, probably makes more sense to start here. Right? It takes a lot less motion and a lot less movement, and I'm okay, and I'm in a good spot here. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So again, depending on where you want to be, where you want to end up, well, put yourself in a better starting point. Okay? Okay. Up to that point, so let's just have a couple of little things you can play with. So as he punches, just kind of here, move into this spot. Maybe the idea as I do this shoot, though, to also let this hand come out a little bit. And then from there, I can take, and I got some sort of show or whatever. Right? And again, it's not something I'm grabbing for. I'm not trying to snatch his hand. It's, again, something he just kind of leaves behind, right? Here, boom, and it's just in that moment that this kind of just gets hung out here, right? Right into my sweet spot here. Then from there, I can take, and I've got this cue show that I can do whatever I need to with. Right? Okay, try that. Come in here close. So with that little cue show idea here, just so you have one finger. So one way Soke's doing it again, and I used to be really crap at cue show, and if you come in closer. Right. I used to have kind of an idea that, okay, it's about squeezing here and there's really nothing there, right? So then I started figuring, okay, it's a little better if I get my nail involved, okay, it's nice. But really, what I've found that makes it very effective, again, it's not a matter of hand strength. There's a kamae almost of the hand. I want to start in, that starts getting unpleasant, right? But really, that's not it yet. All right. So I started going in, but when I started hitting resistance, I changed the direction. And now see how it's attached, and I've got a nice kamae here. Right, and everything, nothing's moving here. You can see it's just two fingers there. It's something that's connected to me, to my body. Right. So again, it could be any of these. Just kind of in here, it's in, and then you change direction. Right, and it's horrible. Really. And all cue show basically kind of works this way. And this is not a hand strength thing. Right. Just kind of take the shape, and then it's connected to your body. It's you don't have to squeeze any harder. Okay? Anybody wants to do it like that? And then change direction. And really, all cue show will have it work, based on the same. It's the same principle we were talking before. Once I start hitting resistance, I need to change direction. This is the same thing. I start going in, and once I start getting solid, I need to change the direction a little bit, right? And then connect that to my body. Right? And then again, and be willing to let that go and change to a whole different idea. That's part of it as well. And be able to move next spot. So it's never, what you never want to be doing is grabbing for something. Again, this is only done from a position of safety. Right? We were talking the other day, people, you were talking about your subway guy, and there's some two guys, and some dude was out on the subway chasing him, and these guys were beating him with their batons. And I mean, just totally, actually, after the fact, x-rayed and broke all kinds of bones, this, that, and the other. Those guys were still coming at him. Right? So don't rely on any of these things as this is going to stop the whole fight, finish it. But it's kind of what lies in get done in this thing once you get to a certain point. So just try this real quickly with each other. And again, if anybody has any problems right now,
That's better effective than something.
Really? Yeah. So it's just kind of moving here, and it's about this point, and then from there, right? So just dropping him into that spot, and even from here, there it is again, and then there it is again. Right? So what you're doing is just kind of bouncing them off, strike after strike after strike. Here, just into this spot, and you boom, and everything is now it's right there where it's vulnerable. It's leaning on me here, and all I need to do is just take that support away from it. Right? Right. All right, so just here, and just boom, just in that moment, and then bam, that's where that shoot those things are going. Right now he's holding on here, so I don't give him the support. And that was the piece that was holding him up. Okay. Don't kill each other. Pretty consistent effect that Soke creates, although with him it's much more subtle. It's a lot easier to see with Noguchi Sensei. It's this kind of, and some of you guys made an observation, but it's kind of that ability to kind of come from underneath and float the guy up a little bit, right? So what I mean by that is that idea of being here and then it's one, see how I'm floating him up? That idea of kind of, with Noguchi Sensei, I mean, again, it's a little bit of a visualization, but I almost feel like he's able to kind of really, just get down in there, not necessarily from a wide stance, but just kind of get down and almost like he's, like, again, I hate to reference the Matrix again, but that scene where he's, here and all of a sudden the waves are rippling out and he's gathering energy and whoosh, he takes off, right? It's that kind of feeling a little bit where it's just kind of, I'm here, and it's just that down in here, and it's very springy. Boom, that kind of, there's an energy that kind of gets like a spring, right? You're like a spring getting loaded up, and then you can just fully explode, right? And just take this guy out. So get a little bit of that feeling, and then and again, the other advantage to it, again, is that coming from underneath, right? It's here and here, just by me now moving upward. See what happens to him? That's the other part. So that also helps kind of break his kamae a little. He breaks his kamae. He wants to break his kamae because something's coming up from in here. So the natural thing is, ooh, right? Okay, see if you can gather that feeling a little bit. I'm going to repeat one point that I've talked about a few times. It's going to get you again. On this part where the kick is coming in. Okay. Here, give him a chance to react to the kick. Then he's vulnerable, right? So don't just necessarily sneak the kick in there, because quite honestly, it's probably not going to be necessarily that likely to take him out. What I'm looking to do is give him a chance to react to it. So let's go there one more time, slow. So we're here, boom. From here, I want to, his kamae is not so bad, quite honestly. So it was really, I shouldn't do too much because he's got a good kamae. But as soon as I go here, yeah, look at his kamae now, right? So it's not the thing I'm doing immediately, it's the next thing that matters, right? It's the next and the next and the next, right? So don't use the strikes as strikes, use them a little bit more like a cattle prod. Seriously, I mean, the idea is kind of, stimulating them, giving them the opportunity, a little motivation, a little bit of a carrot and a stick, in order to kind of help them want to break their own kamae. Right? That's the idea. Go back there with that idea once, and then we'll throw something else in. I'm just going to get that scenario one more time, just real quickly. Right? So, maybe here, if I just blast that kick in there, in a way that's hard for him to defend, well, the problem is he might be wearing a steel cup or something. He might have some protection there, and then end up breaking my toes or breaking my foot, right? So I don't want to put too much into any one thing. I want it to be a little bit more exploratory, right? So I want to be able to hear and get the reaction. Then it's there. And the thing is, maybe it's low lighting. You might be wearing a helmet or whatever. So I don't want to necessarily just blast strikes in there, because again, the problem is not that I'm trying to do him any favors, but I don't want to hurt myself, right? I want to. Again, this is about protecting myself, not about damaging him. The goal here is not to break him. The goal is to get home at the end of the night safely to your loved ones, right? So keep that kind of, again, don't lose the plot here. Don't lose, the goal of what we're doing. Okay, go do that one more time, and then we'll throw some weapons in. So I think a lot of people are going to have the idea, yeah, he goes to punch, we're going to try to get the sword out real quick, right? Well, yeah, he's going to disengage whenever. The other big problem, again, we were talking last night about, they've done studies with people who are, with like police officers who've been trained to get their weapon out, and he's got a knife, and even from like 10 meters away, right, guys that are reasonably trained, he starts, boom, just decides to, okay, go, and he starts running out with a knife. Most of the guys cannot get their gun out effectively in time in order to shoot the guy. Most of them can't get their gun out. If they get their gun out, they can't actually take an effective shot. They're going to get killed 99 times out of 100 by a guy 10 meters away, right? So you think you're just going to whip your sword out? I don't know. I think you might be kidding yourself a little bit. So what we need to do here, as he punches, at this point here, I'm buying myself some time, right? It's that moment, right? So Soke says, ad nauseum, don't be in a rush to get your weapon out. Be patient. Number one, protect yourself and protect your command. Then, when the timing's right, you can draw to get your weapon out, whether that be a gun, a sword, whether it's the strikes and kicks, right? Don't be a rush to throw those. Right, so as he goes here, I want to do the same thing. I'm just getting myself protected and moving myself out into this way. Even if the sword doesn't come out at that time, that's okay. Right? I'm at the point where now I can take some distance, and I'm at exactly the right place in order to be protected here. Right? Most vulnerable for him. Okay? And reality would be, it'd be very much in his, as we go here, it'd be very much in a spot where he would have limited ability to do anything about it. It'd be very much in his weak place there. Okay? Okay, so whether you got sword or not, throw that into your mentality just a little bit. Okay? You turn the sword, have a determination on how the sword's going to come out. Seems commonsensical, but I think a lot of people aren't doing that. So, depending on the scenario, I need to change the direction of where the blade is facing in order to alter how the sword comes out of the side. So, if for example, I'm here and there's an attacker over this way that I need to defend momentarily, then I'm going to draw the blade out with it upright. I'm not going to turn it in a particular way. So if I've got it here, basically that puts the blade straight up and over this way. Okay. Now, however, if I don't have to necessarily deal with somebody over there, and I'm really needing to get back to him, then I'm going to turn this way. All right. See how the sword comes out differently? So I can move in an arc and be right back there. All right. See how that would be a difference. All right, so if I want to have a horizontal cut, then I need to turn the sword horizontally. Right? So I'm going to be here, turn, and it comes out this way. Right? Again, if I had to say, the other thing is where you aim. So one part is the blade, the other part is where you aim the butt of the thing. That's pretty much where the tip should end up, right? So if I have a taller guy, just stand there, don't go anywhere, right? Or somebody, I'm fighting up a flight of stairs, somebody's higher than me. Then yeah, I'm gonna aim this a little bit higher, and I'm gonna be here, and it's gonna end up there, right? Obviously, conversely, if I'm in a higher position, somebody's below me, I need to aim it down here in order for it to end up down there, right? That makes sense? Same idea would be, I'm here, and you're standing there, and I need this guy's over here, then maybe I need to move it to here. See how that would work? Right now I'm drawing with the other hand, but that's the other thing. You have to have the freedom to work with either hand. Right? So it very much teaches having the idea of being very free with the blade, not that it's just always in one place here. It's got to be able to move around comfortably in your belt. Right? just to be able to move to wherever, right? This way, you know? That type of idea. Right? Same thing with placing it in. Oops, Soka does that as well. Right? First time I've done that, but Soka does this all the time, right? So just again, not having got him shoving it in there too deeply either. Right? Okay, give that a try. So just free up your thinking a little bit there. Think about the dynamic of what you're doing. We got a question over here, so again, ask your question.
Yeah. When the attacker comes, do you have to hold on to your sword, or can you let it go and you need to fight with your hands and then draw it?
Good question, not easily answered. It depends. It's always against, I think so I would say it's going to be case by case, right? Ideally, again, I was showing the idea of yesterday, I hope we're not going through that, but idea of yesterday of kind of how to balance it there, and again, before we start training, I was talking about Anya about the idea of, again, having your belt in a certain way that it can be, if I kind of contract my stomach, squeeze in a little bit, it's very loose, but if I were to tighten a little bit, now it gets tightened up, so it's not easy, so that's part of the control. Then, I don't know, as part of your hands, is it really, again, I don't want to have the idea, again, of whipping the sword out there. I mean, that's really, quite honestly, a very low-level kind of martial art, in my opinion. It's more, you got to think of this as just as potentially another opponent, right? So I don't want to let this get into the wrong hands, and it's possible that it's going to get in the way or be an obstacle or something tricky, so I just have to keep an awareness of it. And while I need to move in an effective way relative to Roger, right? I'm probably gonna, even if I don't have my hands on it, I want to have it covered in a certain sense, right? So it's just somewhat protected there. I could, let it go there, you know, and then at that time use the other thing, right? As a distraction, right? So the point there being much like when I put the sword in men, where shit's gonna happen, right? Mistakes, no matter how well you plan. Once you meet the real situation, it's never going to go exactly, I just did it again, it's never going to work exactly as planned there, right? So that's why I'm advocating you've got to have this built-in foundation of good basics and safety upon safety built, because stuff's going to happen. So again, I'm not directly answering your question. If I were to be able to, if I had some awareness of it, probably I'm going to control a little bit, and then I'm ready to go, right? And if that's an option, but it may not be an option, right? I may not have that choice. So, does that kind of answer? Yes. Okay. So again, just I think again one of the ideas that Soka kind of again shares with us is from any one thing that we're doing, you have to be mentally at least thinking of 8 other permutations, 8 other variations of that. And one thing can be kind of this idea, okay, my hands are here, whatever, they're not there, they're available, the guy's bigger, we've got 2 guys. Even if you can't practice every single thing, and actually, obviously, we can't think of every single thing, but you can mentally visualize a lot more things than you can actively practice, right? So to maximize your training time, you should be having those type of different scenarios going on. And from what I've understood and read from people who are like real world, operatives, behind, like Navy SEALs in operation, or spies behind lines or whatnot, they are constantly doing this kind of war gaming, what they would call it. They're sitting in a cafe and they're imagining, well, if all of a sudden 3 terrorists come through the front, where's my way out of here? What things in here could be useful to me, in different scenarios. So hopefully that's never going to happen. Hopefully I'm never going to get attacked by Roger, but I need to kind of already mentally thought through the processes of that. That to me again is a huge part of our training, and really when the real thing happens is really going to be probably the difference that makes the difference. It's not necessarily overwhelmingly, not necessarily just going to be the bigger, stronger, faster guy. It's going to be again the person that's more free of mind, that's not locked, again, going back to the gun scenario. The guy's freaking trained, and Roger starts running, their only focus is this. So really, they're locked into one limited thing where he starts coming at me with a knife, maybe to get myself some more time, they don't even think, well, maybe I should move myself back here and get some cover first, give myself some time to get my gun out, right? It's a simple little thing, but the difference wasn't how physically fit it was, the difference is here. Right? That's what's gonna, again, in my opinion, overwhelmingly be the difference that makes the difference when the shit really happens, I think. And from feedback I've heard from people who've had real life experience, whether they be, again, in law enforcement or military or whatever, that's the way it is. So again, work on your physical skills for sure, but don't forget at the end of the day, this is going to be the difference that makes the difference. Okay, anyways, hopefully you remember what the hell we were doing there, 'cause I forgot. But give that a try and then we'll maybe take a quick break or something.